welcome to Inside Games, the only gaming news show brave enough to, well, not really crack sarcastic jokes about a very, very serious topic.
Yep, it's time to drop the shtick and be real news reporters. Guy Beam, known online by his brash 80s tough guy persona Dr. Disrespect, has been dropped by multiple sponsors and the game development studio he co-founded in 2021 after allegations that he sexually solicited a minor using Twitch whispers.
Yeah, supporters and detractors debated these allegations for days until Guy Beam himself made the confusing decision to admit that there were, quote, Twitch whisper messages with an individual minor that sometimes leaned too much in the direction of being inappropriate.
That's gross.
Yeah, this is all very gross, Lawrence. There's nothing else to say about it. It's just gross.
It's a kind of a long story though, so.
Yeah, it is.
We do have, unfortunately, a lot to say. In the same extended post we referenced, Beam insists that there were not real intentions behind the messages, and that the conversation was casual and mutual.
Of course, that excuse didn't clear the air much, as Charlie, Moist Critical, did a fantastic job of pointing out that the, quote, I wasn't going to actually do it defense is identical to the one that nearly every pedophile used when busted on the recurring Dateline special to catch a predator.
You want to explain yourself?
Beam's admission does provide some closure to the open mystery surrounding his Twitch platform ban back in 2020, even if now we're left to wonder why it took so long to out what was apparently a known creep.
So as journeyman journalists, we actually can provide some context. On top of that, we've also experienced firsthand the collateral damage caused by the selfish actions of one horny jackass. We really have. So we actually can provide a lot of context, in my opinion, about why this situation might have been handled the way it was. And I've seen a lot of people asking questions about that online, and we'll do our best to answer those.
They're understandable, and it's a very complicated situation. So we'll try our best to let you know how it feels to be under that weight. Justice is a nice idea. It really is, but there's no right way to handle situations like this, and no situation is the same. At the moment, if you're in the situation, you want to be sensitive to how charged an accusation like that can be, but you also want to do as little harm to connected parties that don't deserve the controversy and public shame attached with an accusation like that.
Yeah, we'll talk more about the story's context in a bit, but first let's cover Beam's long history of colorful headlines right after a quick word from today's sponsor, Spades Plus. Inside Games is brought to you by Spades Plus. Spades Plus is all about partnerships. The game is played with 4 players in 2 partnerships. Each player is dealt 13 cards from a standard deck of 52 cards. And the objective of the game is to be the first partnership to reach 500 points. Points are earned by taking tricks, which are won by playing higher ranked cards or trumping opponents' cards. So if there's one thing you know about us gamers at Inside Games, we love beating other gamers at games. So of course you can win against your family or friends, but we all know you want to be the top of the top on the internet. We know that. There are lots of events to join, and you can play mini games in the Lucky Hall for prizes. So get out there and start becoming a gamer. Download Spades Plus for free by clicking our link in the description or pinned comment. Scan the QR code, get 10,000 coins on arrival. That's Spades Plus. Use the link in our description, and I'll see you there. But I'm going to beat you.
All right, welcome back, everyone, and thank you for the support, Spades Plus.
Just to recap real quick, Guy, Dr. Disrespect Beam, has been dropped by sponsors and his own company after admitting to inappropriately messaging a minor in 2017.
This is actually not the first time that Beam has admitted to some form of sexual misconduct. In December 2017, weird timing, Beam appeared on stream without his character trademarks, wig, and sunglasses to tell his audience that he'd been unfaithful to his wife and would be taking a long hiatus from streaming.
Stupid fucking mistakes, man.
Yeah, Beam's next streaming infraction then occurred in 2019 when he and his live streaming cameraman entered a public bathroom at E3 on 2 occasions. I didn't know it's 2. Violating Twitch's privacy rules. Twitch suspended his channel for 2 weeks while E3 revoked his attendee badge.
Now, so far everything seems transparent, if tasteless, which is a pretty good brand descriptor there. But then Beam's career kind of turned mysterious. In June 2020, just months after signing a multi-year deal with Beam, Twitch permanently banned Beam's Twitch account. Discord also removed Beam from their partnership program on the same day.
Neither company announced specifics for their decisions, which obviously led to a lot of speculation over the last 4 years. Lots of curiosity, side picking. It just went on and on.
Yeah, Beam didn't keep his mouth shut for long, which is a trend you might be picking up on. Just a day after the Twitch ban, Beam tweeted that Twitch has not notified me on the specific reason behind their decision. He returned to streaming on YouTube just over a month later.
Which sounds like a lie to me, by the way. In 2021, Beam suggested that he would sue Twitch for damages to his career. Though later in 2022, Beam followed up that his legal dispute was, quote, resolved. And that, quote, no party admits to any wrongdoing.
Still very not satisfying of an answer, but yeah. As recently as April 2024, and this is where it starts to get a little, aggravating, Beam still professes ignorance and innocence, calling the folks at Twitch, quote, slithery, disgusting purple snakes, or, quote, what they did to the two-time.
And now we know that was a lot of lying. It's possible that a predator playing victim at this volume was the last straw. On June 21st, 2024, former Twitch account director Cody Connors tweeted the following, quote, he got banned because got caught sexting a minor in the then existing Twitch Whispers product. He was trying to meet up with her at TwitchCon. Powers that be could read in plain text. Case closed, gang. No one made the wrong decision. Fuck him and his boys.
Yeah, you'll note Connors didn't explicitly name Beam in the post. Oh, it's not hard to tell who he meant.
Yeah, people knew immediately. Now, obviously, this is a major accusation to drop and led many to justifiably question the truth of these claims.
But keeping in character, Beam decided to chime in just to make the job of defending him that much harder. Replying to gaming news reporter Jake Lucky, Beam tried to dismiss the allegation, saying that no wrongdoing was acknowledged and they paid out the whole contract.
Oh, nothing says I'm innocent like saying no wrongdoing was acknowledged, right? That means that you didn't do anything wrong.
And no one admitted to anything legally. Therefore, this is open and shut, right? So this obviously kicked off a firestorm of speculation, side-taking more of the same, with people both shaming and memeing Dr. Disrespect and also attacking Connors for possibly making up a terrible rumor for personal gain, I guess? I don't know. That motivation always gets a little weird.
Yeah, I think people were picking him apart days after saying, like, you did this because of, getting viewers or whatever. By June 24th, however, Beam used his last moments on stream to suggest that fatigue might have him, quote, step away from the limelight.
It might be time to drive in the sunset, champs.
I write the narrative before somebody else does, right? Shortly after the stream ended, Midnight Society, the game development studio co-founded by Beam in 2021, released a statement that they are, quote, terminating our relationship with Guy Beam immediately. They reached this decision after speaking with parties involved.
Further incrimination came the next day when Cecilia D'Anastasia, reporting for Bloomberg, cited two anonymous sources in reporting that Guy Beam used Twitch's Whisper feature, they're basically DMs, to ask a minor about her plans at the in-person TwitchCon convention. That's in addition to three other sources, quote, with knowledge of the matter, claiming that Guy Beam exchanged, quote, sexually explicit messages with a minor through Twitch.
Beam's response, a lengthy X post that admits to the accusations he spent the last 4 years pretending to be victimized by, went up an hour to the dot after the Bloomberg article's publication.
In the post, where Beam promises to, quote, cut the fucking bullshit, he claims, quote, I'm no fucking predator or pedophile, while also admitting to inappropriately messaging a minor. He says, quote, I'll absolutely take responsibility, while also saying, I'm not fucking going anywhere.
It's a funny way of taking responsibility, I guess.
All right, okay.
Twitter's edit history also shows that Beam edited the post once a minute after posting to try to remove the word minor, but then edited again about 20 minutes later to restore it for some reason.
I mean, I think we know why. The internet shame fallout fell quickly, both for Guy Beam and for the equally brash influencers that loudly supported Beam over the last few years.
Nick Merckx acknowledged the situation in a shirtless poolside video.
That's inexcusable. It's unacceptable, right? There's no excuse for something like that, and I can't support it. Hang on, honey. Doing this, talking to Twitter.
Tim the Tatman, likewise, couldn't find a shirt in time to address the situation.
If he knew that was a minor, and those were the messages being sent, I cannot support that. I can't.
Midnight Society studio head Robert Bowling posted a personal comment condemning Beam, writing, quote, if you inappropriately message a minor, I cannot work with you, period. I promised to only act on facts, and I did.
Well, there you go. Sponsors have likewise deserted Beam. Gaming peripheral manufacturer Turtle Beach told IGN that they were ending their long-time partnership with the streamer on the very same day.
And DigiDay confirmed that the San Francisco 49ers will also not be working with him going forward.
And of course, Skybeam remains defiant, finding time in a post where he admitted to being inappropriate with a minor to tell his haters, I don't give a fuck about you. So, yeah, that sounds to me like he's really admitting it.
Yeah, the sound of contrition, right? He concludes by saying, I'm taking an extended vacation with my family, as mentioned on stream, and I'm coming back with a heavy weight off my shoulders.
So, will folks on the internet want to watch a proud predator return to online streaming? This is too depressing to realistically answer, but I think I already have the answer.
I do too, god damn it. Yeah. I've given up on hoping that there's like a minimum bar of moral decency in the public consciousness. So it is what it is. He'll be fine, but hopefully people know to be aware, be scared. In the meantime, I think a lot of people are understandably frustrated and confused that situations like this can happen.
Yeah, when Connors originally blew the whistle on Guy Beam, many reporters and industry contemporaries posted some variation of, that's what I heard.
Yeah, it basically sounded like an open secret, which begs some very obvious questions. Why was a well-known creep allowed to continue streaming? If this information was well-known among members of the press, why did they all sit on this information for years? Isn't that their jobs?
Yeah, the second question might be easier to address than the first. So we're going to attempt to start with that. Traditional journalism self-imposes standards of information verification to prevent the news press from being weaponized by like bad actors and false information. I know you see that a lot. Obviously, that's something that's a very hot topic right now, but that's what's supposed to happen.
Yeah, when the news press organization itself has a propagandist agenda, then that kind of goes out the window. But traditional news is supposed to obey certain rules, which means that, that people don't leak false stories to hurt their competitors in the market, or you, the reader, can take some solace that it's not just the writer's bias dictating the entire story. In regards to this story, the most important kind of constraint is that if sources wish to remain anonymous, and in a story like this, they absolutely would. Brief aside, that anonymous means to the reader, not to the reporter. The reporter absolutely verifies their identity and their relation to the subject. So it's not like they're just some deep throat leaking information. It's that they want their public information withheld. So if a reporter is to break a story on anonymous sources, people that won't put their name and their title on what they say, they must source two primary unrelated people.
That means two sources that are both verified to have first-hand experience with the matter at hand and don't have a material connection to each other. So those two people generally don't know each other. In this case, that would mean securing two Twitch employees that saw the whispers firsthand and would be willing to talk to the press, but also those two Twitch employees don't know each other.
Yeah, and that group was probably very small at Twitch because you don't want information like that getting around, even though it did. So in a situation like this, when a reporter doesn't even know who anyone in that small group might be, and those people have no motivation to talk to press and potentially jeopardize their careers or expose themselves to online harassment, they just might never, even though something may be a known secret, a reporter might never be able to secure the standard of proof necessary to run a properly sourced and vetted story.
Yeah, that's why D'Anastasio's Bloomberg report is actually very, very important. She explicitly cited two sources vetted by her editors in reporting that Guy Beam asked the underage recipient about their TwitchCon plans.
Yeah, looking at this situation is kind of bizarre though, because D'Anastasio's reporting probably only broke because Connors leaked it in the first place. It made more people aware of it, showed a public sentiment turning against it, which can make leakers feel like, okay, it's safe for me to like come forward and say something. So this is a situation where some guerrilla rule breaking did lead to proper news reporting in the end, and the truth did get out there.
Doesn't always happen that way, but
for sure.
Thank God it happened this way. It's also not like Connors is going to get a parade for this. If anything, he will be harassed by internet weirdos for years to come. This is guaranteed. And that will be his only reward for setting these events in motion.
Yeah, which brings us to that other uncomfortable truth about the situation. And again, it's a subject that we both have some pretty intimate experience with. The collateral damage in situations like this is really high, and it's super unfair. It just makes the prospect of discussing the truth, it's really, really complicated. You want to seek justice and you want to prevent other people from being hurt, but you have to weigh that with everyone else that's going to be affected by things like this breaking out.
Yep, all of this information breaking out has delivered an amount of gratifying justice to a sexual predator, but it's also caused ripples of emotional damage to Guy Beam's family, his wife. I believe he has a child. This game studio he was attached to. These people really made no mistake, don't deserve to be punished for just, working with somebody who made a bunch of selfish decisions. So there are a lot of people that are, and that's why you see sponsors dropping him, because they don't want to be anywhere near this. So, and those people are affected. They really are.
Yeah. Game developers that have put 2 or 3 years of their career into this company, where now maybe its future is being jeopardized, or at the very least, it's always going to be associated with this skis. No matter what product they put out, those are going to be all the headlines, and it's going to dog it forever. So, all the employees of that company didn't decide that, but now they get to live with that. And it's either that or look for another job in this market. I don't know. It's unfair all around.
Yep. Living with that information is a real weight. And I'm speaking directly to you. It is, because I have done that and continue to do it every single day. On one hand, being quiet allows a creep to potentially victimize more people. On the other, speaking out invites supporters of the accused to attack you, in addition to prompting all the peripheral damage that hits friends and family and employees and all the other stuff.
I can understand the idealism in hoping that situations like this are always resolved by letting the truth be known, but it doesn't work out that way. And often, if you make an accusation against somebody that's well-liked enough, people will just choose not to believe it. And then what is done? Like, you just invited a bunch of hate on yourself. No needles got moved, no justice was delivered, and the world just keeps spinning. So this sucks. It sucks, but some situations, I don't know. I'm not even. Again, I don't know what. I don't have any words.
No, it's fine. I understand. I can attempt to talk about this because on the one hand, I saw a lot of people asking the question, why didn't people who knew come out and give us justice? And Lawrence just explained why. Because imagine, let's say, they release screenshots of these Twitch whispers. And let's say they don't blur out the name of the person that Guy Beam is talking to. That person immediately sees harassment on an epic scale for years and years, maybe for the rest of their life. And that's one of the things that I see a lot of people not understanding, is that the victim here, the person who was being solicited by Guy Beam, could be damaged forever. I mean, we're talking psychologically, their family, their friends, all of it, forever and ever and ever. And again, since Lawrence and I have a first-hand experience with this, and we're not going to talk about that situation here, but if you know anything about both of us, you can go look. That's what will happen. And I saw this question specifically related to our scenario, same deal. Well, how come you won't come out and talk about the whole thing? And I was like, you motherfuckers aren't thinking about the victim, which is hilarious to me, because that's what they want. They want justice. So think about the victim first. And then beyond that, man, oh man, it's like if the victim wants to come out and talk about it, then they are allowed. They can do it on their time. But if that is not the case and they want to continue living their life normally, they're allowed to do it.
Yeah, that's the waterfall of how it goes. Is that you make an accusation, then someone's going to say, prove it. And then you'll maybe give an example, and they'll say, well, we need to hear from the victim themselves. And then they hear from the victim themselves, and then the victim themselves gets attacked and discredited. And then, yeah, there's definitely an inertia to everything. People don't want to change their minds about somebody they like. So there's a very uncomfortable process that happens. And it is a gift to believe, I think, that things will just turn out fine if you spread the truth, but you're not allowed to think that if you're the one who shoulders the responsibility of the consequences, even if you're not the one who did the thing in the first place. So you can't make that decision for someone else, is essentially what we're saying. And that's a heavy decision to make. And often even victims know the score more than everyone else, and they choose to stay silent because of that. And that really sucks. But you can't change human race overnight. Hopefully, instances like this will maybe invite people to second guess, maybe, the way that they relate to public figures and the trust they might put in people they honestly don't know. I don't know.
No, you're totally right. All super valid. I also can talk to living with this information of like knowing somebody is way worse than their public persona and having that weight on you. Again, Lawrence and I weren't the direct victims, but it is absolutely a weight on our shoulders, and it's something that you think about. I mean, me personally, I think about every day, every single day, for as long as I've known about the situation. Again, this is just for me. This is just my personal experience in a similar scenario, not exactly the same. But you really do think about it all the time, and you think about all the things you could have done differently, and like all that. It's the worst. So I feel for all the people that are working with Guy Beam at Midnight Society or wherever else, the 49ers, or who knows. You know, like all these people, probably a lot of them didn't know. So they probably went and shook hands with the dude and had lunch with him and like chill out, and we're like, oh man, this dude's the best. And then you see this stuff and you're like, fuck. Like, is the whole thing, the whole relationship that we had a lie? It really is a bummer. Like, it's like and these are just things that go through your head because you start thinking. And so all of these people, I will say to people watching this episode, please, dear Lord in heaven, respect the people at Midnight Society and anywhere else that had anything to do with working with Dr. Disrespect. Let them just, deal with it in their own way. Don't go on and be like, hey, what do you think about this? None of that shit. Let them think it. Just let them deal with it. You have nothing to do with the scenario, so just stay away from it, and don't bother them.
Yeah, I think some people might, viewers, consumers of online content, may feel pangs of guilt and want dismissal from that too. I don't know, man. We're all swerved by people every day. It's just part of the chaos of being alive, and yeah. Making your peace with that is a difficult thing to do if you have a functioning conscience.
Oh man, yeah, we do not enjoy reporting on stuff like this, obviously, but it does make us especially grateful to our patrons that enable us to do it. We have an Inside Games Patreon, and they really, honestly, are supporting us every month to report on some fun video game stuff like Star Wars Outlaws, and then this stuff, which is not at all fun and has taken over Lawrence and I our feeds for a week. So thank you. So here's to our patrons and to gaming news that's about the number of polygons in Master Chief's butt. I wish that we had talked about Master Chief's butt in this episode instead of Dr. Disrespect. Red N003, Zach the Hack, Spirit Bear, Rook, Loveless, Nick Calderon, and Scotty Ryan, and Aaron Fraze. Just watch that Halo episode where you get to see Master Chief's butt.
Been on loop for the past 3 months. Yeah, just to echo what Bruce said. We really enjoy doing this work. We believe in, I guess, the dense scripted format. Just getting all the facts in there and then providing some highly intellectual commentary at the end. So thank you, supporters, for enabling us to do that. Lenny Neves, Dougal Tootbo, Digital Renegade, Sir Knight, Brandon Popovich, Danny Pudding, and Jose and Al Diaz. Thank you all very, very much.
Yeah, and thank you again, because Spades Plus is sponsoring today's video, which I know is a tough one, but they are sponsoring it. So remember, you can download the game through the QR code or the link in the description and pinned comment, and you'll get 10,000 coins on arrival. Spades Plus is just a easy, fun card game. It's really just super simple. It's great.